Hi, it's YSM Conversations coming to you again.
Mm.
Um, we are a collaboration, Danielle Young Smith and myself, Victoria McMahon. We're a collaboration in what it means to be in conversation with what's rising, with how we're paying attention to the lives we lead and what we're informed by that we'd love to share with you. And we were in a conversation a few minutes ago and decided to just come on and record and see what happens. We're in the play of what it means to be in conversation that gets us thinking. So I'm Victoria McMahon. I work as a vibrant soul coach and helping people awaken and open to the life that they choose for themselves.
Mm.
And I want to introduce you to Danielle. Go ahead.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction, Victoria. Yeah, I'm Danielle YS, and I help women coaches who are feeling overwhelmed, burnt out, or just a little bit disillusioned with their businesses to evolve beyond that discomfort and into direction so that their business feels streamlined, soul aligned, and simplified. I'm super excited to be here with you.
I
And
know. We
yeah.
did we did one previous, so we're just getting started on our play together with you. And the first one was on rethinking people pleasing during the holiday season. So you can see that on YouTube. It's already posted. And so we got into this conversation, and one of the things you just said about how you work with women who are disillusioned with their business. And one of the things that tweaked up was this whole perfectionism that's going on. We're moving from people pleasing into perfectionism.
The
I think that's
peas.
really good. The three P's. And how that can show up in our personal lives and in our business and what we offer
Mm.
to the world. So what's steeping for you, Danielle, with that?
Uh, I think with perfectionism, I always come back to this quote from one of my coaches who would say, "Done is better than perfect because perfect is never done." And that's something that I come back to, especially in my business, because there are infinite things that we can do to tweak, to perfect, to make it exactly like we want to. And at the end of the day, it's more important to just get our message out there and take aligned action towards the things that are calling us and towards the things that are rising in us, just like we do in our conversations today. So I think that's one of the biggest things of just like, there's just so much neurosis around perfectionism and especially around making sure we look perfect, our setting is perfect, our lighting is perfect, our script is perfect, all these different pieces when perfectionism is just another layer of trying to control our environment in an uncertain world.
And I love how you said the perfectionism of our looks, the personal aspect of it too,
Yeah.
is that we just decided this morning to just go live.
Yeah.
Okay, no earrings, no makeup. I just got back from walking the dog and then doing another Zoom
Yeah.
group. And all of a sudden, we're going live. And I'm like, what would happen if I told myself, oh, I can't do this now because I'm not made up, as
Hmm.
we say.
Exactly.
And I'm thinking about that because I have taught a lot of restorative yoga. And there's this layer for me in that of perfectionism in how we rest and de-stress our physical bodies.
Mhm.
And there's this myth in our world that in order to rest, I need to sleep.
Ooh.
Or if I do a rest, I'll fall asleep. And
Mhm.
rest and sleep are distinct from one another.
Mhm.
And so I'm thinking about that, the way perfectionism comes in with that. I can have all the list in the world of getting things done. I'm never going to complete my list. Like the laundry will never ever get completed. That's that's a really cool story that a friend of mine shared recently. You're never done with laundry. You'll never be done with your list. And if I am to really make my peace with perfectionism, can I give myself 10 minutes out of that list and that laundry to, ooh, I just thought they call it a laundry list.
Ba, 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 ba.
Can I give myself permission to allow myself to be fully awake and alert to receive the idea of rest? So
Mhm.
that's what came up for me,
Mm.
personally focused.
Uh-huh. And so for you, where does rest relate into perfectionism?
That I don't have enough time for rest
Mm,
because I have too many things on my to-do list. And boy, is this time of year going to amp up that
yeah.
perfectionistic story of I just don't have time to rest.
Hmm. Hmm. I think that's a big one, especially for women, where there's this story that we have to do it all and we have to do it all really well, and we also have to do it all and look good. And especially around this time of year when it's so family centric, of like, I must be the place of support and comfort and love and providing that I have been for so long with my family, whether you're a parent or whether you're a child. Um, yeah, there's so much additional stress that, if you look under the covers, it's us putting the stress on ourselves most of the time. Society too, and so much of it is internal with that. Like, I have so many things that I need to do. I don't have time for rest.
Yeah.
It works into our beliefs.
And in relationship to the perfection aspect of that,
Hmm.
it's what you and I have said over the last couple of years. Enough already.
Yeah.
Enough already.
Yeah.
When when are we going to actually choose
Hmm.
enough already?
Mm.
And I think I feel the vibe continuing from people pleasing and rethinking our people pleasing.
Yeah.
That perfection, they're so intertwined. So it's kind of interesting that it pops up today that we just decide to go ahead and record and see what, like, there's no script here.
Yeah.
What does want to be said from our hearts
Yeah.
about enough already? How do we rethink not only people pleasing, but rethinking perfectionism and that grip that it can hold on us?
Hmm. Yeah. It's an interesting one of rethinking perfectionism, because I feel like for me, my perfectionism, of course, there's so much somatic aspect to it and nervous system aspect to it that drives me to perfectionism. But then when I'm in that perfectionism, it's all up in the head where I'm thinking so much about all the things that I need to do in order to be perfect that rethinking it almost feels like adding more. But if we even rethink rethinking, it's that place of rest that we can come into of like, okay, maybe in rethinking perfectionism, we unthink about perfectionism.
So tell me, what's one way you unthink perfectionism?
Mm. One way that I know I'm in that perfectionism is the kind of going back to last time with that contraction. And even more so than that contraction is that I see and I hear my mind just going in overdrive, like over and over and over about all the things that need to happen in order for me to have it be perfect so that I can then share it with the world. And one of the ways that I use that signal to unthink is use it as a signal, number one, to see, okay, I'm in that overdrive mode. So let's just let's just take a moment, take a breath, like take the hands off the keyboard. Literally step away from the keyboard. Take a
Literally.
deep breath and say, okay, what is actually important for me to do or move forward on right now? And what is going to actually move the needle rather than me staying in this state of perfectionism, which for me usually looks like doing the things that I know that I'm really good at, like creating programs or developing programs or working with clients, rather than sharing what I'm doing with a broader audience. So it's that step away from the keyboard moment.
I love it. I love
How
it.
about for you?
I'll tell you one that's coming to my mind. It's kind of the simple people pleaser, perfection intertwined a little bit. I've been making my sugar cookies, my keto friendly sugar cookies to honor everybody's variations in their diets this year. And I have I have some batches that weren't quite golden brown according to the how they should look, and they were a little rough around the edges.
Mm.
And I said, okay, I can cover those puppies with icing, and nobody will notice. That's one way that the perfectionism pops in.
Yeah.
Or I can just embrace that not every cookie is going to look exactly the same and let them have their uniqueness.
Yeah.
Let go of the perfectionism. They're all going to get eaten because they'll be delicious.
Yep.
Some people in my family actually kind of like things a little more charred. And so then they get to have what they find delicious. And then the other ones can say, yeah, not for me. So that's my funny little story of rethinking perfectionism and still being able to please in a fun way
I
that
love.
I like to do it. I like to cook.
Yeah, yeah. And because we are so somatic in our practices, I'm curious with you what that moment was in your body or in your mind of, okay, it's okay. I don't have to cover it all up. Some people like it the other way. What was that for you?
Well, at first it was the, oh
Yeah.
my God, I burnt this batch a little bit, right? And you can feel your whole throat and chest, everything just kind of caves in. And then I was like, yeah, okay. I just let my shoulders drop. I let my belly relax. And I said, this is a good practice. And
Mm,
so, yeah, so the somatic, especially the belly softening,
yeah.
was a big indicator for me.
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So when you're cooking along and you get the, ah,
Yeah, yeah. There's a saying in software engineering for engineers, like when you're going along and you're doing something and you find a bug, so code that doesn't work as it is expected to work. There's a saying of it's not a bug, it's a feature. Where it's intentional. Like it's something that is supposed to be there. It's not a bug. And so I love that that approach with the cookies too, where like they're a little bit more cooked than the other ones than you were intending to do it. It's not a bug, it's a feature.
it's here's the crispies, here's the more soft. Which one do you like? And
Exactly.
people will have their preferences.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe there's another P word. Oh my gosh. Preference is in the eye of the beholder,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. 100%. 100%. If we all had the same preference, it would be a very boring world.
It's sure would.
A very boring world.
So, so I'm kind of thinking about what other ways do we unthink
Mm,
perfectionism?
So your story reminded me of last week, I think it was. We were hosting our annual holiday Harry Potter marathon and open house. This is the fifth year that we've done it. It started in COVID times and just became a tradition after that. And I usually go overboard. I usually make a lot of stuff or plan to make a lot of stuff. And then I have those moments of when people start coming over and like it's not all done. There's still 20 things that I want to make that I haven't made. And every single year I get a little bit better at it, at letting it go. And this year I feel like was a good year for that. I definitely still did a lot. And at the same time, I was modulating that a lot with, okay, what's actually possible? And if some of the stuff that I had planned and was excited about doesn't get done, then it doesn't get done and it's okay. And in fact, for some of those, like I had planned to make some cookies, some sugar cookies. And I didn't have time to make it, so all the ingredients were just sitting on the countertop when people came in to come for the open house, and I didn't even put it away. I just thought of it and was like, that's a feature. That's just decoration that I have out now. Cookie supplies. And it wasn't like, oh, I got to put it away to try to hide that I didn't finish doing all the things. I don't have to stress and like rush and try to make them. I'm just gonna leave it there. You know what? It's fine. And that's one way of unthinking.
It's like unthinking, telling yourself that's a feature.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to start trying that on and seeing how not only I respond, but if I say it out loud,
Mm.
what will others think of what I've just said? So
Oh,
that's like one of my keys
yeah.
to unthinking perfectionism is pause, breathe, soften my belly,
Mhm.
tell myself that's a feature. I
Mm.
love it. I think there's one more that wants to pop up.
What's coming for you?
Um, well, one of the things that you said that I got curious about was you said, let it go.
Mm.
I wanted to know what the it is that we're letting go.
Ooh, that's a big one, Victoria. Let it go. There's so many things in that it. Good spot. There is the perfectionism, which lays on top of the not enoughness. Um, there is and last time we were talking about kind of the two edges of people pleasing and the two edges of perfectionism, where in some of the cases or in part of the action, it's coming from joy in doing the action. And in other parts of that action, it's coming from a place of fear. So within that, when we're talking about let it go, there's a place of joy as well as the place of fear and not enoughness that's coming up. And it's let I'm trying to put words to it because it's so big. It feels so big. It's when we let it go, I think it's expectation of what something should look like or what we want it to look like, but also the control over that expectation to make it happen. And for those of us who are achievers and who have done so much, and I think also for something like this, with the Harry Potter marathon, as well as with your cookies, where this isn't the first time we've done it. There's sort of that additional expectation of like, we've had it be this way in previous years, and that's sort of setting us up for more um, in the coming years as we continue going. And this is actually a conversation that I've had with my best friend from college a number of times of when we haven't failed a lot or in big ways previously in our lives, it becomes more and more constricted as we continue going along in our lives because it's like, oh, we can't fail. We literally cannot, not literally, we are not allowed to fail because we haven't failed before. And we're building ourselves up to continue doing better and better and better and better and more and more and more and more. And so it's like this whole history of things that we need to let go and just let it be whatever it wants to be. That was a long answer.
There's a whole lot to unpack in there. So I have a feeling some conversations are going to come out of that. The two words that came up for me that are underneath the expectation and the history of the doing is the it for me is we then have to look at belonging and unlovability are beliefs that if we don't belong, if we're not lovable, that we project or put out into the world a certain kind of control scenario, if you will, and that if I let it go, maybe I'm also letting a small piece of not belonging, not lovable. Maybe I'm letting that go too. That those are not necessarily true.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they kind of like two ends of the spectrum, as you were saying.
Yeah.
If I can let expectation go, I can also let a piece of I don't belong or I'm not lovable
Yeah.
go from my belief system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which in itself, like when you say it, it's like, well, obviously I want to let that go. Like, I don't want that. But the nervous system feel like that's so familiar to our nervous systems and it's such a part of our identity that the letting it go, even though it feels like a positive thing to let the negative thing go, quote unquote, is hard. And our nervous systems don't want to because that's the familiar and that's the safe.
Okay, I'm gonna go techie on you with the metaphor. So what I hear you saying is we're hardwired in
Mhm.
part of our brain for that.
Mhm.
And then at the same time, there's a new software in the brain that can be cultivated.
Yeah.
And that's the rethinking,
Yeah. Unthinking.
unthinking our relationship to people pleasing, to perfectionism, to you name it.
Yeah.
That we're just in this conversation about it.
Yeah. Totally. Ooh.
Wow. More to come.
More to come.
Anything to say before we complete this conversation? I'm feeling satiated with it.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful just to kind of go back and pull out the three pieces that have come from this conversation as a reminder for ourselves as well as for you listening of like, okay, where did we go in this conversation? So I'm not going to be able to do this in order of what we talked about. Let go of perfectionism, it's fine.
Who said
I
there was an order to it?
well, that's true. It's true. It's just how it came up and bubbled through. So there's the unthinking, as well as the it's not a bug, it's a feature. And what is your biggest takeaway with the unthinking?
That when we breathe and make space, the brain can unthink what it's hooked onto.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I do that.
Nice. I love that. Yeah, unthinking through creating space. Simple, simple. And it's not a bug, it's a feature. And what is the third piece that you're pulling out as like the biggest takeaway?
That I'm rewiring every time I pay attention to these um, aspects of perfectionism that come through. and I rewire the softness, the pause, the feature. They're all rewiring my brain for a new way of being in myself.
I love that. So we've got soma and somatic nature in unthinking through spaciousness. We've got engineering through it's not a bug, it's a feature. And we've got brain science through we are rewiring what we have been programmed into as we create this space for us and as we let it go.
Just love being in conversation and not deciding what it's going to be, and just seeing what shows up.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I,
Mm.
I, I, and we maybe want to invite you to be in a conversation with somebody without deciding what it's going to be about. Maybe there's some like we did perfectionism. Oh my gosh, that's an interesting topic. And just see what happens. 15-20 minutes of hanging out with somebody. What do you come up with
Yeah.
in your conversation too? And shoot us a comment on YouTube and say, yeah, this is how it happened for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you're curious to continue hearing these conversations, subscribe to our channels, and we're going to keep doing them out of perfectionism and into play, really.
YouTube, YSM Conversations. Come play with us.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.